Okay, so what we've done is we held Oceana County, Michigan under indictment for larceny by trick, as agency by estoppel. We did the attorney larceny by extortion. And the main one was the larceny of lost, mislaid, or delivered property. Okay? This one applies to the birth certificate. When you're delivered in a hospital, according to the Cestui Que Vie Act. That's where you're placed. They offer you hospitality. And what she does is she does a birth announcement. When she announces your birth, your certificate, she's abandoning you. She has no idea that she's abandoning you. Okay? Upon the abandonment, you belong to the United States as a thing. Okay? Now you have their legal name. That's your stock certificate. You are one share of stock in the United States Incorporated. Okay? So at this time, you're dead. They're saving you. You've been saved in the hospital. What do you need to do? You're not proving life. Your mother's abandoned you. Your father's not claiming you because here's an announcement in the paper. He doesn't come in to claim you.
So you've been
orphaned. He doesn't know that he has to.
So you've been orphaned.
Right. You're an orphan. You're property that's lost, mislaid, or delivered. Okay? Now, if somebody comes and takes that, that's larceny. And that's what's going to happen. And they're administering your estate, your state of being. Okay? So now you have to prove life. Now what we've done is we've put on admissions, evidence of proof of life. I just sent that to you in the Skype there. And what it is, all it is you're going off of the motion to show cause life, which is the Cestui Que Vie Act. Cestui Que Vie means with what cause do you live? Okay? It's a motion to show cause life. And nobody's showing cause that they're alive until now. So once you put that evidence on the court record, it has to be an action. It says so in the Cestui Que Vie Act. Once you put on record that you're alive, you're revealing God. You're making him parent finally. And you're showing everybody that's witness to the court record that here you are. Proof. Now, how do you claim your shit? You have to do some administering of your own. First, you need to make yourself the executor of your estate. You need to appoint the living person now, executor of the dead thing. Now you can administer your own stuff. Okay? Now you need to do some writs. Now I ran into an issue when we had indictment and everything else. This is all acknowledged. The attorney acknowledged that the larceny was perpetrated. He rolled over on his client and said, no, it wasn't me. It was my client. He admitted the larceny. Okay, so we have acknowledgement. We have a judgment. They didn't come back in and show cause why they shouldn't be indicted. But everything was stalled out. So now how do you collect on that judgment? You need to do a fieri, fascis, de bonis, ecclesiasticis writ of execution. Because you have found a judgment, the judgment debtor, which is a corporation or an attorney, they're not in your jurisdiction. So you can't make a claim on their shit because they're not in your fictional.
There we go.
Right. Everything that's fictional does not exist any longer. That court does not exist. Your court exists now that you're alive. So you need to do a writ. And what that writ does is it demands from the bishop that he dip into the bishop's trust and you get the benefits of the corporation or the attorney or whatever else, such as the municipal employees' retirement securities. You get everything. The IOLTA trust, everything. But you have to make the claim as the king. These are writs from the king. And what you're going to have to do is it's an absolute, original, and extraordinary writ of mandamus with a colon, because you're following that up with a writ of execution, which is a fieri, fascis, de bonis, ecclesiasticis writ of execution. And I believe that's all it's going to take. Now, I just wrote this morning. We're going to file it tomorrow, and then after that we'll see where it goes. But, I mean, it's perfect. They say in Bouvier's maxim, the king does not have an equal, much less a superior. You have so much that says, here, nothing exists until judgment, correct? But you just judged. You were just a judge, and that's what Jesus was explaining too in 1 Corinthians 6. He says, is there not any man among you who can judge these matters? Why are you taking this shit to the law? You know, you became unaware that you're supposed to be judging these matters. You're judge. You're God.
Hey,
you need to claim your position.
Okay, so you sent me the Johansson motion to show cause, the Johansson kidnapping 2 circuit, and the scan, and it's still coming.
Right.
Which one do we start with?
Scan. You want to look at all of them because the Johansson motion to show cause is all of the larceny by trick, larceny by extortion, all of this when we went up against the county. The kidnapping is when the sheriff was acting on the attorney's orders. This attorney was maintaining an army, a militia against him by being a court officer, which is it's part of the larceny by extortion. The aggravated larceny becomes aggravated because he's using a militia against the person of Philip Johansson. And what Phil did is he claimed life. They can no longer touch him. He has the executor doc on file. He has the forgiveness doc on file. So he's forgiven his debt as the creditor. He's no longer dead. He's no longer able for them to administer his estate. He is the house. He put himself back in his house. And that's the other thing. These charters, the charter ability is claiming ownership of all of these dead things and lands and everything else by putting it into another house, the manor. This is the bishop's house. Now, once you claim and you forgive yourself as the debtor, as the creditor, and you claim life, you claim you're the administrator now, you appoint yourself as your executor of the dead thing, there's nobody else that can administer that estate. Only you can administer that estate. They have no other option than to listen and adhere to your will. Your will. Your will was taken by attorney work product doctrine. Here they have it. All of the evidence is stripped off of court record. Attorney work product doctrine says that you can hear testimony, you can have exhibits, whatever else, but only if they allow it. They're not allowing evidence on the court record, so you never once appeared before. You've never, ever, ever, ever appeared as a living person. You've never been revealed. You have to put yourself on evidence and appear by the evidence. And in that, the Johansson motion to show cause RE, that one has the admission statements in there. What you're doing is you're bringing forward on evidence the Cestui Que Vie Act, the motion to show cause life, and then in section 4 you're saying, here I am. I'm appearing. Now you leave me alone. And you have to word it exactly the way that it's worded, the way that I wrote it, because what you're doing is you have to appear before the court. That means you exist before the court exists as a fiction. You're God. You were here long before the court ever existed. It only exists by implied color and color. It doesn't exist unless you're defending yourself.
I just brought it up here, Tammy. I'm looking through it. And then, who do you file this with then, Tammy?
You have to file it in an action according to the Cestui Que Vie Act. So whatever action you have ongoing or any of them. As soon as you prove life, that court no longer exists. It becomes a fiction.
So like
it's not necessary for life.
I've got a warrant out for me for a ticket from years ago. So that's an action that's ongoing. So I could file this into that.
Right. And you appear by the evidence. Do not enter into the Church of Bob.
Oh, no.
Do not go there. What you do is you put on evidence your appearance.
Okay.
You appear by the evidence.
Okay.
And that's what Phil did. You appear. They can no longer summon the dead. When they send you a summons and they say that you didn't show up, you can't show up. You can only summon the dead. You can't summon a living being.
So just take this down to the courthouse and file it into the case that's still ongoing then.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What do you expect?
And you have to file the forgiveness doc, which forgives your debt. Let me send you that one.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
No, that one's still in it. Kurt is just absolutely beautiful. Kurt wrote the forgiveness doc, and then all I did was help him a little tiny bit. It's the most amazing document I've ever seen. And what it did was it forgave the debt, and you cannot claim your legal name.
What was that in the background?
You can't.
Okay.
I don't know. You can't claim their stock. To obliterate the stock, because you become one share of stock in the U.S. Incorporated, you can't claim that. All these attorneys are teaching to claim it by UCC filing, but you can't claim that. That's somebody else's stock. You have to obliterate that stock. You have to rip it up, and what we're doing is we're obliterating it and pretty much ripping up that share of stock. It no longer exists. Now you can have your name, and it belongs to you, but you don't want to claim it under UCC because according to the Cestui Que Vie Act, once you prove life, you get all of the principal and interest all the way back to 1666. You don't want just the derivatives. Under UCC, those are derivatives of human production. So that's just a small little paltry amount. But what if you're claiming the principal and interest all the way back to 1666 when they first stole your land?
So you can rectify all these other problems. You can claim all the stuff they've erred you and wronged you since the beginning.
Since 1666, absolutely.
Wow.
That's what the Cestui Que Vie Act says.
Yeah,
once you prove life, you get it.
It's not about you, Mike. It's about the estate.
Okay.
Right. And you claim all of your property, the principal and the interest in 1666. Now, when he came in, I got to show you. The scan one is the letter from the attorney rolling over on his client. And then we came back in with more admissions. We admitted the McNeely letter, and then we charged him again with criminal coercion. And then I'm going to copy and paste into your email the new motion to close. That's the motion.
Me too.
No, you're right.
Me too. Everything you got.
Yeah, I have it in the Skype box that you, Colin and Jack is in. And then,
I'm not at my Skype right now.
Okay.
I wanted to share something or add something or tweak something and see what you think. Going along with Rob Ryder's stuff, if you want to call it that, I keep thinking about it and going over it. I've read court cases, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I'm thinking. Why not use the public record instead of the courts? The courts are fictions. The courts, as you just said,
right.
They have no.
Right, and that's what we're doing. When you file the forgiveness doc, you file that with the recorder's office, and you also have to record your executor appointment. You have to appoint yourself as the executor of your estate. You have to record that with the registrar's office because this is your court. And that recorder's office is yours at that time. I mean, you're the king. You were always the king, but it took another king to separate your spiritual and the temple and give your body over the temple over to the bishop. And now you're saying, no, get off my land. You know, here you've been on my porch all this time. What are you doing standing there? This is mine. There's been somebody else trespassing on you all this time. And your land is you. That's your body.
Okay, I've got all those documents.
Right, how do we go back? If you weren't born in 18, whatever you said it was.
That's the forgiveness doc. When you forgive as the creditor and the debtor, what you're doing is you're merging that. You take a +1 and a -1, and you bring it all together, and it becomes 0. So here, as the franchise, they've been copying you. They make copies of the original copyright. And they say, well, you need this, you need this, you need this, so we need this amount of money. And you're asking for them to protect you all this time, and you're initiating all of this debt, every bit of this debt. So from now on, you say, no, I don't want you to protect me. I'm the executor. I will administer my estate. I don't want your hospital. I don't want your insurance. I don't want your Social Security. I don't want your retirement. I just want what's mine since 1666. Stop protecting me, and you claim that you're I am. You have to go back to being I am, because your physical state was apparent, and now you're making it apparent before you got the legal name. You already existed as to your physics before